Hello, everybody. It's Carmen Nardini. I am going to be reading Numbers 13 through 16. I am reading out of the Living Bible, paraphrased, and it's week 37. So I'll get started. Numbers. Jehovah now instructed Moses, send spies into the land of Canaan, the land I am giving Israel. Send one leader from each tribe. The Israelis were camped in the wilderness of Paran at the time. Moses did as the Lord had commanded and sent these 12 tribal leaders. Shemaiah, son of Zakur, from the tribe of Reuben. Shaphat, son of Hori, from the tribe of Simeon. Caleb, son of Jephunneh, from the tribe of Judah. Igal, son of Joseph, from the tribe of Issachar. Hosea, son of Nun, from the half tribe of Ephraim. Palti, son of Raphu, from the tribe of Benjamin. Gediel, son of Sadi, from the tribe of Zebulun. Gadi, son of Susi, from the tribe of Joseph, actually the half tribe of Manasseh. Amiel, son of Gemili, from the tribe of Dan. Sethur, son of Michael, from the tribe of Asher. Nahabi, son of Vophasai, from the tribe of Naphtali. Gul, son of Makai, from the tribe of Gad. It was at this time that Moses changed Hosea's name to Joshua. Moses sent them out with these instructions: go northward into the hill country of the Negeb and see what the land is like. See also what the people are like, who live there, whether they are strong or weak, many or few, and whether the land is fertile or not, and what the cities there are, and whether they are villages or are fortified, whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are too many trees. Don't be afraid, and bring back some samples of the crops you see. The first of the grapes were being harvested at the time. So they spied out the land all the way from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob near Hamath. Going northward, they passed first through Negeb and arrived at Hebron. There they saw the Ahinamites, Sheshites, and Talamites, all families descended from Anak. By the way, Hebron was very ancient, having been founded 7 years before Tanis in Egypt. Then they came to what is now known as the Valley of Eshcol, where they cut down a single cluster of grapes so large that it took 2 of them to carry it on a pole between them. They also took some samples of the pomegranates and figs. The Israelis named the valley Eshcol at that time, meaning cluster, because of the cluster of grapes they found. 40 days later, they returned from their tour. They made their report to Moses, Aaron, and all the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh, and they showed the fruit they had brought with them. This was their report. We arrived in the land you sent us to see, and it is indeed a magnificent country, a land flowing with milk and honey. Here is some fruit we have brought as proof. But the people living there are powerful, and their cities are fortified and very large. And what's more, we saw Anakim giants there. The Amalekites live in the south, while in the hill country there are Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites. Down along the coast of the Meridian Sea and in the Jordan River Valley are the Canaanites. But Caleb reassured the people as they stood before Moses. Let us go up at once and possess it, he said, for we are well able to conquer it. Not against people as strong as they are, the other spies said. They would crush us. So the majority report of the spies was negative. The land is full of warriors. The people are powerful, fully built. And we saw some of the Anakim there, descendants of the ancient race of giants. We felt like grasshoppers before them. They were so tall. 14. Then all the people began weeping aloud, and they carried on all night. Their voices rose in a great chorus of complaint against Moses and Aaron. We wish we had died in Egypt, they wailed, or even here in the wilderness, rather than be taken into this country ahead of us. Jehovah will kill us there, and our wives and little ones will become slaves. Let's get out of here and return to Egypt. The idea swept the camp. Let's elect a leader to take us back to Egypt, they shouted. And Moses and Aaron fell face downward on the ground before the people of Israel. Two of the spies, Joshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, ripped their clothing and said to all the people, "It is a wonderful country ahead, and the Lord loves us. He will bring us safely into the land and give it to us. It is very fertile, a land flowing with milk and honey. Oh, do not rebel against the Lord, and do not fear the people of the land, for they are but bread for us to eat. The Lord is with us, and he has removed his protection from them. Don't be afraid of them." But the only response of the people was to talk of stoning them. Then the glory of the Lord appeared, and the Lord said to Moses, "How long will these people despise me? Will they never believe me, even after all the miracles I have done among them? I will disinherit them and destroy them with a plague, and I will make you into a nation far greater and mightier than they are." "But what will the Egyptians think when they hear about it?" Moses pleaded with the Lord. "They know full well the power you displayed in rescuing your people. They have told this to the inhabitants of this land, who are well aware that you are with Israel and that you talk with her face to face. They see the pillar of cloud and fire standing above us, and they know that you lead and protect us day and night. Now, if you kill all your people, the nations that have heard your fame will say, 'The Lord had to kill them because he wasn't able to take care of them in the wilderness. He wasn't strong enough to bring them into the land he swore he would give them.' Oh, please show the great power of your patience by forgiving our sins and showing us your steadfast love. Forgive us, even though you have said that you don't let sin go unpunished, and that you punish the father's fault in the children to the third and fourth generation. Oh, I plead with you, pardon the sins of this people because of your magnificent, steadfast love, just as you have forgiven them all the time from when we left Egypt until now." Then the Lord said, "All right, I will pardon them as you have requested. But I vow by my own name that just as it is true that all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord, so it is true that not one of the men who has seen my glory and the miracles I did both in Egypt and in the wilderness, and 10 times refused to trust me and obey me, shall even see the land I promised to the people's ancestors. But my servant Caleb is a different kind of man. He has obeyed me fully. I will bring him into the land he entered as a spy, and his descendants shall have their full share in it. But now, since the people of Israel are so afraid of the Amalekites and the Canaanites living in the valleys, tomorrow you must turn back into the wilderness in the direction of the Red Sea." Then the Lord added to Moses and to Aaron, "How long will these wicked people complain about me? For I have heard all that they have been saying. Tell them, the Lord vows to do to you what you feared. You all die here in this wilderness. Not a single one of you, 20 years old and older, who have complained against me, shall enter the promised land. Only Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun, are permitted to enter it. You said your children would become slaves of the people of the land. Well, instead, I will bring them safely into the land, and they shall inherit what you had despised. But as for you, your dead bodies shall fall in this wilderness. You must wander in the desert like nomads for 40 years. In this way, you will pay for your faithfulness until the last of you lies dead in the desert. Since the spies were in the land for 40 days, you must wander in the wilderness for 40 years, a year for each day, bearing the burden of your sins. I will teach you what it means to reject me. I am Jehovah, I, Jehovah, have spoken. Every one of you who has conspired against me shall die here in this wilderness. Then the 10 spies who had incited the rebellion against Jehovah by striking fear into the hearts of the people were struck dead before the Lord. Of all the spies, only Joshua and Caleb remained alive. What sorrow there was throughout the camp when Moses reported God's words to the people. They were up early the next morning and started towards the promised land. Here we are, they said. We realize that we have sinned, but now we are ready to go on into the land the Lord has promised us. But Moses said, It's too late. Now you are disobeying the Lord's orders to return to the wilderness. Don't go ahead with your plan, or you will be crushed by your enemies, for the Lord is not with you. Don't you remember? The Amalekites and the Canaanites are there. You have deserted the Lord, and now he will desert you. But they went ahead into the hill country, despite the fact that neither the ark nor Moses left the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in the hills came down and attacked them and chased them to Hormah. 15. The Lord told Moses to give these instructions to the people of Israel. When your children finally live in the land I am going to give them, and they want to please the Lord with a burnt offering or any other offering by fire, their sacrifice must be an animal from their flocks of sheep and goats or from their herds of cattle. Each sacrifice, whether an ordinary one or a sacrifice to fulfill a vow or a freewill offering or a special sacrifice at any of the annual festivals, must be accompanied by a grain offering. If a lamb is being sacrificed, use 3 quarts of fine flour mixed with 3 pints of oil, accompanied by 3 pints of wine for a drink offering. If the sacrifice is a ram, use 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with 4 pints of oil and 4 pints of wine for a drink offering. This will be a sacrifice that is a pleasing fragrance to the Lord. If the sacrifice is a young bull, then the grain offering accompanying it must consist of 9 quarts of fine flour mixed with 3 quarts of oil, plus 3 quarts of wine with a drink offering. This shall be offered by fire as a pleasing fragrance to the Lord. These are the instructions for what is to accompany each sacrifice: bull, ram, lamb, or young goat. These instructions apply both to native-born Israelis and to foreigners living among you who want to please the Lord with sacrifices offered by fire. For there is the same law for all, native-born or foreigner, and this shall be true forever from generation to generation. All are equal before the Lord. Yes, one law for all. The Lord also said to Moses at this time, Instruct the people of Israel that when they arrive in the land that I'm going to give them, they must present to the Lord a sample of each year's new crops by making a loaf using coarse flour from the first grain that is cut each year. This loaf must be waved back and forth before the altar in a gesture of offering to the Lord. It is an annual offering from your threshing floor and must be observed from generation to generation. If by mistake you or future generations fail to carry out all of these regulations which the Lord has given you over the years through Moses, then when the people realize their error, they must offer 1 young bull for a burnt offering. It will be a pleasant odor before the Lord. It must be offered along with the usual grain offering and drink offering, and 1 male goat for a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for all of the people of Israel, and they shall be forgiven, for it was an error that they have corrected it with their sacrifice made by fire before the Lord, and by the sin offering. All the people should be forgiven, including the foreigners living among them, for the entire population is involved in such error and forgiveness. If the error is made by a single individual, then he shall sacrifice a 1-year-old female goat for a sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord, and he shall be forgiven. This same law applies to individual foreigners who are living among you. But anyone who deliberately makes the mistake, whether he is a native Israel or a foreigner, is blaspheming Jehovah, and shall be cut off from among his people. For he has despised the commandment of the Lord and deliberately failed to obey his law. He must be executed and die in his sin. One day while the people of Israel were in the wilderness, one of them was caught gathering wood on the Sabbath day. He was arrested and taken before Moses, and Aaron and the other judges. They jailed him until they could find out the Lord's mind concerning him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "The man must die. All the people shall stone him to death outside the camp." So they took him outside the camp and killed him as the Lord had commanded. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to make tassels for the hems of their clothes. This is a permanent regulation from generation to generation, and to attach the tassels to their clothes with a blue cord. The purpose of this regulation is to remind you whenever you notice the tassels of the commandments of the Lord, and that you are to obey his laws instead of following your own desires and going your own ways, as you used to do in serving other gods. It will remind you to be holy to your God. For I am Jehovah your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Yes, I am the Lord your God." 16. One day Korah, son of Issachar, grandson of Kohath, and a descendant of Levi, conspired with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, all three from the tribe of Reuben, to incite a rebellion against Moses. 250 popular leaders, all members of the assembly, were involved. They went to Moses and Aaron and said, "We have had enough of your presumptions. You are no better than anyone else. Everyone in Israel has been chosen of the Lord, and he is with all of us. What right do you have to put yourself forward, claiming that we must obey you, and acting as though you were greater than anyone else among all these people of the Lord?" When Moses heard what they were saying, he fell face downward to the ground. Then he said to Korah and to those who were with him, "In the morning the Lord will show you who are his, and who is holy, and whom he has chosen as his priests. Do this, you, Korah, and all those with you. Take censers tomorrow and light them, and put incense upon them before the Lord, and we will find out whom the Lord has chosen. You are the presumptuous ones, you sons of Levi." Then Moses spoke again to Korah. "Does it seem a small thing to you that the God of Israel has chosen you from among all the people of Israel to be near to himself as you work in the tabernacle of Jehovah, and to stand before the people to minister to them? It is nothing to you that he has given this task to only you Levites. And now you are demanding the priesthood also? That is what you are really after. That is why you are revolting against Jehovah. And what has Aaron done that you are dissatisfied with him?" Then Moses summoned Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they refused to come. "It is a small thing," they mimicked, "that you brought us out of lovely Egypt to kill us here in this terrible wilderness, and that now you want to make yourself our king. What's more, you haven't brought us into the wonderful country you promised, nor given us fields and vineyards. Whom are you trying to fool? We refuse to come." Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not accept their sacrifices. I have never stolen so much as a donkey from them, and have not hurt one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "Come here tomorrow before the Lord with all your friends. Aaron will be here too. Be sure to bring your censers with incense on them, a censer for each man, 250 in all. And Aaron will also be here with his." So they did. They came with their censers and lit them, and placed the incense on them, and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle with Moses and Aaron. Meanwhile, Korah had stirred up the entire nation against Moses and Aaron, and they all assembled to watch. Then the glory of Jehovah appeared to all of the people. And Jehovah said to Moses and Aaron, "Get away from these people, so that I may instantly destroy them." But Moses and Aaron fell face downward to the ground before the Lord. "O God, the God of all mankind," they pleaded, "must you be angry with all the people when one man sins?" And the Lord said to Moses, "Then tell the people to get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." So Moses rushed over to the tents of Dathan and Abiram, followed closely by the 250 Israeli leaders. "Quick," he told the people, "get away from the tents of these wicked men, and don't touch anything that belongs to them, lest you be included in their sin and be destroyed with them." So all the people stood back from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the entrances of their tents with their wives and sons and little ones. And Moses said, "Be this you shall know that Jehovah has sent me to do all these things that I have done, for I have not done them on my own. If these men die a natural death or from some ordinary accident or disease, then Jehovah has not sent me. But if the Lord does a miracle and the ground opens up and swallows them and everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you will know that these men have despised the Lord." He had hardly finished speaking the words when the ground suddenly split open beneath them, and a great fissure swallowed them up, along with their tents and families and the friends who were standing with them and everything they owned. So they went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished. All of the people of Israel fled at their screams, fearing that the earth would swallow them too. Then fire came forth from Jehovah and burned up the 250 men who were offering incense. And the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, to pull these censers from the fire, for they are holy, dedicated to the Lord. He must also scatter the burning incense from the censers of these men who have sinned at the cost of their lives. He shall then beat the metal into a sheet as a covering for the altar, for these censers are holy because they were used before the Lord. And the altar sheet shall be a reminder to the people of Israel." So Eleazar the priest took the 250 bronze censers and beat them out into a sheet of metal to cover the altar, to be a reminder to the people of Israel that no unauthorized person, no one who is not a descendant of Aaron, may come before the Lord to burn incense, lest the same thing happen to him as happened to Korah and his associates. Thus the Lord's directions to Moses were carried out. But the very next morning, all the people began muttering again against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the Lord's people." Soon a great sullen mob formed. Suddenly, as they looked toward the tabernacle, the cloud appeared, and the awesome glory of the Lord was seen. Moses and Aaron came and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from these people so that I can instantly destroy them." But Moses and Aaron fell downward onto the earth before the Lord. And Moses said to Aaron, "Quick, take a censer and place fire in it from the altar. Lay incense on it and carry it quickly among the people and make atonement for them." For God's anger had gone out among them. The plague had already begun. Aaron did as Moses had told him to, and ran among the people, for the plague had indeed already begun. And he put on the incense and made atonement for them. And he stood between the living and the dead, and the plague was stopped. But not before 14,700 people had died, in addition to those who had died the previous day with Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the tabernacle, and so the plague was stopped. And that's where I'm stopping today. So thanks for listening in.